Manchester United midfielder Casemiro is once again at the center of transfer speculation, this time being strongly linked with a potential move to Saudi Pro League giants Al Ittihad, where he could reunite with an old teammate and longtime friend. The 33-year-old Brazilian star, who arrived at Old Trafford in the summer of 2022 in a blockbuster £60 million transfer from Real Madrid, was once considered by many to be the best holding midfielder on the planet, a player whose sheer presence in midfield guaranteed balance, composure, and relentless competitiveness. His arrival was hailed as a statement of intent from Manchester United, who were desperate to bring world-class experience into a team struggling for stability and leadership. At the time of his signing, Casemiro became the highest earner at Carrington, pocketing an eye-watering £365,000 per week. That figure has since dropped to around £300,000 a week, largely because Manchester United are not participating in European competitions this season, triggering performance-related clauses in his contract. Despite the pay cut, the midfielder's salary still places him among the elite earners in English football, underlining his status as a marquee player. However, it has become increasingly evident over the past year that Casemiro's very best days might be behind him. While his leadership qualities and game intelligence remain intact, there have been visible signs of physical decline, particularly when United's midfield has been exposed against high-intensity opposition. Even so, manager Ruben Amorim still regards him as an important figure in the dressing room, and last season Jamie Carragher even went as far as to describe him as still world-class, praising his ability to control games and deliver in crucial moments. But football moves fast, and players of Casemiro's caliber inevitably face questions about their long-term future when their peak years begin to fade. According to recent reports from Stretty News, Casemiro is reflecting deeply on what comes next for him, with intriguing offers arriving from the Saudi Pro League. With his contract at Old Trafford set to expire at the end of the current campaign, there is a strong expectation that he will leave Manchester United sooner rather than later, either in January or once the season concludes. And now, Saudi giants Al Ittihad have emerged as one of the leading contenders to secure his signature. The latest update from Saudi outlet Riyadiyah.com claims that none other than Karim Benzema is personally lobbying for Casemiro's arrival. Benzema, who enjoyed 9 highly successful years alongside Casemiro at Real Madrid, has reportedly told Al Ittihad's hierarchy that his former teammate would be a perfect addition to the squad. The French striker, who made the switch to Saudi Arabia in 2023, is said to be acting as Casemiro's sponsor inside the club, using his influence to push the deal forward. The two men were pillars of Madrid's golden era under Zinedine Zidane, winning multiple Champions League titles together and forming part of one of the most dominant sides in modern football history. Their on-field understanding was second to none, Benzema leading the line with intelligence and selflessness, while Casemiro patrolled midfield with tenacity, shielding the back four and allowing Luka Modric and Toni Kroos to shine. If Casemiro were to join Al Ittihad, it would represent yet another high-profile signing for Saudi Arabia's rapidly expanding league, which has attracted some of the world's top players in the past 2 years as part of an ambitious project to raise its global profile. However, the move is not without complications. Al Ittihad already boasts 2 world-class midfielders in Fabinho, signed from Liverpool, and N'Golo Kanté, who arrived from Chelsea. Both are natural ball winners and defensive-minded players, which raises the question of whether the club truly needs another midfield enforcer in the same mold. Nevertheless, Casemiro's pedigree, leadership, and winning mentality make him a unique proposition, and the club's hierarchy may decide that his experience is too valuable to pass up, especially if Benzema insists. Interestingly, this is not the first time Casemiro has been linked with a lucrative move to the Middle East. In previous transfer windows, reports suggested that he could join another former Real Madrid teammate, Cristiano Ronaldo, at Al Nassr. That reunion never materialized, with Casemiro opting to stay in Europe to compete at the highest level. But circumstances have changed, and with Manchester United undergoing a transitional phase under Amorim and new ownership influences from INEOS, the club is expected to offload several senior players to refresh the squad and reduce the wage bill. Casemiro's high salary, combined with his age and contract situation, makes him an obvious candidate to be moved on if the right offer arrives. For Casemiro himself, a move to Saudi Arabia would represent a new challenge, an opportunity to reunite with former teammates, and a chance to secure one final blockbuster contract as his playing career enters its twilight. While the Premier League remains a pinnacle of competition, the physical demands of English football are brutal even for players in their prime, and for someone who has been performing at the top level for over a decade, the temptation of a slower-paced league with massive financial rewards could prove too strong to resist. What happens next will largely depend on Manchester United's willingness to let him go and whether Al Ittihad formalized their interest with a concrete bid. If Benzema continues to push behind the scenes and the Saudi club decide to strengthen their midfield regardless of having Fabinho and Kanté, Casemiro could soon be wearing yellow and black instead of red. And should that happen, it would mark the end of an era for one of modern football's most decorated holding midfielders, closing his Premier League chapter just 3 years after his high-profile arrival in Manchester. Manchester United may already be preparing for life without Danish striker Rasmus Højlund, as transfer negotiations in Italy begin to heat up and speculation about his future grows louder by the day. The young forward, who arrived at Old Trafford amid high expectations and was once seen as the club's next great number 9, now finds himself at a crossroads far earlier than anyone anticipated. Reports coming out of Italy, particularly via respected journalist Gianluca Di Marzio, suggest that Napoli have taken concrete steps toward securing his signature, pushing to bring him back to Serie A, the league where he first made his name with Atalanta. According to these reports, Napoli are prepared to offer Manchester United a deal structured as an initial loan with an obligation to buy next summer, an arrangement that could give them a significant advantage over rivals AC Milan. Milan were previously interested in Højlund, but their focus has shifted toward other targets such as Victor Boniface, which has left Napoli with a clearer path to negotiate. This interest comes at a crucial moment for the Serie A champions, as Antonio Conte's squad has been hit by injuries up front, most notably to Romelu Lukaku, leaving the team short of proven striking options as they look to defend their title and compete in Europe. For Højlund, the timing of these developments is particularly sensitive. The 21-year-old forward missed Manchester United's Premier League opener against Arsenal, a decision widely interpreted by observers as a strong signal from new manager Ruben Amorim regarding his place in the squad. Amorim's arrival has reshuffled the attacking hierarchy, and the recent signing of Benjamin Sesko has further complicated Højlund's situation. With Sesko expected to lead the line, and with additional options such as Joshua Zirkzee and highly rated youngster Cheeto Obi available, Højlund suddenly finds himself further down the pecking order than anticipated when he joined the club just 2 summers ago. It's a dilemma that neither the player nor the club expected to face so soon. Højlund's first season at Old Trafford showed promise, with the Dane scoring 16 goals across all competitions, proving himself to be a hard-working forward with a strong physical presence and the ability to finish clinically. However, his second season was far less impressive, with his tally dropping to just 10 goals overall, only 4 of which came in the Premier League. In total, he has netted 26 times in 95 appearances for Manchester United, numbers that reflect flashes of raw talent but also a lack of consistency at the highest level, something United cannot afford as they look to challenge for major trophies once again. With the World Cup on the horizon, Højlund faces an important career decision. Remaining at Old Trafford could see his playing time severely limited, jeopardizing his form and confidence ahead of the biggest tournament in world football. On the other hand, a move back to Serie A, particularly to a club of Napoli's stature, could give him the platform to play regularly, rediscover his sharpness, and rebuild his reputation as one of Europe's most promising young strikers. This isn't just a question of minutes on the pitch, it's about his long-term development and ensuring that his career doesn't stall at such a pivotal age. For Manchester United, the decision is equally complicated. Should they keep faith in a young player with undeniable potential, hoping he develops into the world-class striker they envisioned when they invested heavily to bring him from Atalanta? Or should they cash in now, before his value drops further, and avoid a situation where he becomes an expensive squad player who never quite fulfills expectations? The club's hierarchy, led by Ineos and guided by Amorim's plans, will have to weigh both the sporting and financial implications carefully. Fans, meanwhile, are divided. Some believe Højlund deserves more time, pointing to his age, his work ethic, and the flashes of brilliance he has already shown in a red shirt. Others fear that the club may be repeating past mistakes, holding on to players for too long and missing opportunities to reshape the squad. For many supporters, the situation also has an ironic twist. Serie A clubs seem to have a knack for reclaiming their own, and Højlund's return to Italy would feel like yet another case of the league welcoming back a player who thrived there before testing himself abroad. Napoli, for their part, appear determined. Their willingness to offer a loan with an obligation to buy next summer signals a strong commitment, one that could tempt United into doing business. Such a deal would also protect Napoli financially while giving them the immediate reinforcement they need in attack, creating a win-win scenario if Højlund performs as expected.
As talks continue, all eyes are on Manchester United's next move. Will they stand firm and insist on keeping their young striker to fight for his place, or will they accept Napoli's offer and allow him to return to the league where he first made his mark? The coming weeks will be crucial, and whatever decision is made could have lasting implications for both Højlund's career and United's long-term squad planning.